Along with Laura Velasquez here, who's been watching the river levels here, and the thing about that is they've been going down since they crested late last night.
Yes, from Grand Rapids upstream. So if you're in Lowell, if you're in Ionia, Ada, Comstock Park, or downtown, river levels going down. Robinson Township, you got another tough day ahead, but let's show you where things stand right now. This is the high water mark, and we are happy to see this debris line because notice the water is down from it. In fact, down about 2 inches here since it crested in downtown Grand Rapids late last night, and we've also seen the crest in Comstock Park. Let's take you to that graphic right now and show you what we have. Of course, you can see where the crest was there, set a new record in Comstock Park at 17.8 feet. That beat the old record, which was back from 1948 when they were at 17.75 feet. Major flooding occurring there in some of those locations. Now the river is expected to fall, and you can see that downward trend. We have some rain on the way tomorrow. We're hoping that doesn't slow the fall too much. Then you can see Grand Rapids, our crest at 21.85 feet. Occurred about 9 or 10 o'clock last night. We're down a couple inches from there, and that beat the previous record of 19.64 feet by more than 2 feet. Just check the latest on Robinson Township. They are expected to go up likely about another 5 to 6 inches by the time they crest later on today. Then same story. Hopefully the rain that we see tomorrow doesn't impact that too much. If anything, it may slow the fall a little bit. We are not too concerned with the river starting to rise again, though.
Well, we're looking at a number of days here before this river does get back to its normal levels, right?
In some places, it could be weeks before it falls. And you can see just how swollen this river is now. Not only is it up higher, it's also moving faster, about 6 times as much water flowing per second as we would normally see.
My gosh. And all that water causing trouble still all along the Grand River here. We have crews up down the Grand River, and get ready for that water to slow down your drive too here. If you're headed through the Granville-Jenison area, well, it's going to be a mess. Several highly traveled roads are covered in water, and that's where 24 Hour News 8's Amanda Jarrett is. She's taking a look at what you want to avoid. Amanda.
Yeah, it's going to be a traffic headache for a lot of you this morning if you're headed to or from the Granville-Jenison area. I want to show you, Brett, you can see a lot of these road closed signs and a lot of water. It's been a common scene here in West Michigan most recently. You're looking live at Baldwin Street here in Jenison. You can see it looks more like a lake this morning. Still a lot of water out here. And just beyond that, you can see I-196 in the distance. So you can see those on and off ramps are closed this morning. A lot of cars coming down here, seeing the roads closed and turning around. So we want to save you some time this morning. Let's show you a map and some areas you want to avoid. In the Granville and Jenison areas, exits at both Chicago Drive and Baldwin Street are closed this morning, and Wilson Avenue is also shut down. You can expect to see a lot of traffic at the 44th Street exit. That's in Granville today as well. Now let's show you some aerial video we shot over the weekend of the on and off ramps. You can get a better idea. Completely flooded. Chicago Drive has been flooded for days and again remains closed this morning. Buck Creek has caused a lot of problems in Granville. And Granville doesn't have a water gauge, but we're told the city has seen record flooding. Now I want to show you right now, you can see it's still a lot of debris on the road. This gives you an idea of how far this water was out. So it has pushed back. It is receding, but still a slow process. So again, these on and off ramps closed this morning. We have more road closures posted for you at woodtv.com. We're live in Jenison. Amanda Jarrett, 24 Hour News 8.
Well, while those high waters could cause some trouble all up and down the Grand River here in Granville and Jenison, as Amanda was talking about, we do have some good news for you if you are headed into the Grand Rapids area. The Fulton Street Bridge is back open now after they closed it for a while there. The bridge was closed because there are 4 electric cables that run under the bridge. Consumers Energy was afraid the debris from the river could hit the cables and knock out power to most of downtown, but they were able to rectify that matter. They've opened the bridge back up now, so you will be able to use it as you are coming into the Grand Rapids area if you use it to get to work or to get downtown. Obviously, we've been along the Grand River watching some of the situations develop here in Grand Rapids, and if you take a look over my shoulder here, you'll see the 3 giants on the east side of the river here. You have the Amway Grand and then the JW, and then if you can see those neon lights that run along the bottom of it, behind that is the Plaza Tower. Well, it's dark this morning because there's no power running to it. They had to cut the power to it, and they had to evacuate all those residents. Well, right over there, it's Tom Hillen right now with more on what they're doing with that situation. Tom.
Well, Brett, I got to tell you, I was out of town all weekend. Driving back in last night and seeing Plaza Towers completely dark really put this into perspective about what we're dealing with here in Grand Rapids. We're in between the DeVos Place and the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel, where you can still see 4 giant tubes there continuously pumping water out of the basement. That's the situation Amway Grand, JW, and the Plaza Towers. And I want to give you another perspective here. I lived in Grand Rapids my entire life, and I never remember seeing anything like this. Sandbags lining this area, really showing just how prepared we were in case the water ever did get up this high. We have dry pavement, so it didn't. But you heard Brett talking about those people from the Plaza Towers. Well, there's also another condo building along the Grand River here. Those have been evacuated as well. Crews continue to pump water out of those basements, and even though the waters we hear are going down, Laura was talking about that, it still could be some time before all that water gets out of the basements of these downtown buildings. Live in Grand Rapids, Tom Hillen, 24-hour News 8.
Tom, always obviously watching the situation across the river here. We are near the Ford Presidential Museum right now as we're watching the waters slowly recede here. But as Tom's saying, the danger hasn't necessarily dissipated as the water has here. And one of the big requests by a lot of law enforcement agencies is that you stay out of it because they're having a number of rescues. We're going to be looking at that coming up in our next half hour here. We will also have the mayor of Grand Rapids joining us to talk a little bit more about what the very latest information is coming out of the city and what they're having to say about the situation that we're all experiencing here along the Grand River as well. Of course, our coverage is going to continue all morning long right here on Daybreak. We also have much more on the trouble areas that you could run into. It's all posted at woodtv.com. So a really cool morning here along the Grand. It's in the 30s. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, but it's obviously still going to be a problem for a lot of people here, Marley.
Oh, yes, it is, Brett. It's chilly out there, but at least from your perspective, you're seeing the river recede just a little bit.
Yeah, that's the best thing about it. It's going to be slow, as Laura was talking about, though. It's going to take a number of days, possibly weeks, for the river to finally recede, and then it's going to take a lot of time to be able to clean up after it. Some people may be cleaning up for months, perhaps even years, and it's going to cost millions of dollars.
We'll just have to hang in there until it gets better. Thanks, Brett.
Yeah. As the sun has come up, we've gotten a lot better look at how high the water came as it crested last night and how far it's been receding now, even in the little bit of time that we've been here this morning, and Laura Velasquez has been looking into that.
That's right. Well, let's look at the positives first, Brett. I want to show you this. This is the high water mark right down here. You can see this line of debris. That's how high the water had come up when it crested in Grand Rapids about 9 or 10 o'clock last night. A record crest here at 21.85 feet. Now the water has actually gone down about 2 inches, maybe 3 inches, and you can see this stick here. This is what we put in the ground at 5 a.m. Of course, we're an hour and 30 minutes later, not a ton of movement, but it has slipped back just a little bit. Now here's some of the problems. Look a little bit farther out here in the Grand River. Now that we actually have daylight, we can see those lamp posts. Those lamp posts, folks, are supposed to line the river walk. And if my photographer Josh follows me all the way to the right here, look under the bridge. You can see the semicircles there. Look at the far one on the right-hand side. That is where people are supposed to walk. The river walk goes under there. You can see it's under about 5 or 6 feet of water. It is going to be days, if not weeks, before we get this water back to where we should be, although we are moving in the right direction. Take a look at the graph here for Grand Rapids. You can see the river levels expected to start dropping not only this morning, but through the rest of today. Robinson Township, the crest has moved past Grand Rapids right now, but in Robinson Township and places downstream from Grand Rapids, you're looking at the crest today, meaning you're going to see those water levels climb a little bit in Robinson Township, about 5 or 6 more inches, Brett, before it crests this afternoon. That will not be a record flood. The water there was actually higher back in 2005, but still a lot of water in a lot of places it should not be.
And it should take a long time, though. I mean, it's not going to just go down overnight, is it?
Yeah, we created this problem much more quickly than we're going to lose it.
Wow. You know, the one thing that I've noticed as you've been showing us here, this water line, all the styrofoam that's out there. You know, they say the last thing that'll be left in this world are cockroaches and styrofoam. I'm beginning to believe it.
That's right. We need a lot of volunteers to help us clean this up
absolutely right.
As soon as the water recedes.
This is just the start. All right, thank you, Laura. The other problem you're going to face out there are on the roads here. We've got a lot of messes in some regions here, especially the Granville-Jenison area where you have that huge group of roads right there where everybody gets on 196. Well, it is underwater. That's where Amanda Jarrett is right now. She joins us more with what kind of headaches you're going to run into. Amanda.
Hi, Brett. Yeah, I've seen about 24 cars driving down Baldwin Street here trying to get on I-196, and you can see still closed this morning. You're going to run into this a few places around West Michigan, and a lot of water. You're looking live now at Baldwin Street here in Jenison. Still flooded this morning. These on and off ramps closed. The interstate running smoothly, but the on and off ramps are your problem areas. So I want to show you a map and give you an idea of what area to avoid. In the Granville and Jenison areas, exits at both Chicago Drive and Baldwin Street are closed. Wilson Avenue also shut down. You can also expect to see a lot more traffic on 44th Street at that exit in Granville today. Now let's take a look at some aerial video we shot for you over the weekend of the on and off ramps completely flooded. It gives you a good idea what it looks like. Chicago Drive has been flooded for days and again remains closed this morning. Buck Creek has caused a lot of problems, flooding problems in Granville since Thursday, water surrounding some businesses here. You know, Granville doesn't have a water gauge. We're told the city has experienced record flooding, and I want to show you really quickly. You can see that this debris left on the road. The water has since pushed back. It is receding, but it's a slow process here, so we do have some road closures listed for you at woodtv.com. We're live in Jenison. Amanda Jarrett, 24-hour News 8.
West side of the river. On the east side of the river are the three buildings there that are affected by this. Here, the Amway Grand, JW Marriott, but the one that has been most affected by this is Plaza Towers. That one has water in the basement, and that's where Tom Hillen is right now, telling us what they're going to be doing and when residents might actually get to go home. Tom?
Well, good morning to you, Brett. Yeah, we still have the pumping situation going on here. We're in between the DeVos Place and the Amway Grand Plaza, and just look, we've got 4 big pumps working to get all the water out of the basement of the Amway Grand. Just massive amounts of water. I want to bring you over here. I know that you and Laura have been talking about how you guys can see the water receding over where you are at the Ford Museum. We can see that here too by the Amway Grand. It might be difficult to see, but you can see this very last step here. That is wet, or it used to be covered in water, but now the water has dipped below that. So progress over here as well. We know the Amway Grand isn't the only one having to pump water out of their basement. We know that the JW Marriott is also doing it, and the Plaza Towers, where the people that live in the Plaza Towers were actually evacuated. So more than 1,000 people displaced because of that. Could be a couple more days or so before they're let back in. And of course, so just massive amounts of water. And even though the river is going down, it's going to be some time until it's down far enough to where water stops going into these basements. Live in downtown Grand Rapids, Tom Hillen, 24-hour News 8.